Ever wondered what really happens to your resume after you hit the apply button? For over 7 years, I hired software engineers to my own development teams and ran the hiring process from the inside. In this video, I'm exposing 7 secrets tech recruiters won't tell you and how you can use them to stop getting ghosted and land interviews at top tech companies. Let's start with secret number 1. Have you ever walked into a bookstore and grabbed a random book? Maybe the title caught your eyes or the cover looked appealing. Your resume works the same. It's your book cover. It makes someone want to read your story or put you right back on the shelf. Recruiters go through hundreds of resumes and they don't have time to read every detail. They scan each one in a few seconds, searching for relevant information. That's why your resume needs to be easy to read and hard to ignore. But many software engineers get this completely wrong. They try to cram everything in, pet projects, publications, and even their hobbies. To squeeze it all into one page, they shrink margins and divide resumes into multiple columns. And in the end, recruiters miss important details and they get rejected. But why software engineers do this? Because we love to optimize. We want to create a one-fits-to-all resume that we can use to apply for hundreds of roles. But that's also the fastest way to get rejected. Generic resumes have one fatal flaw. They are generic. They skim on details that could actually land you a job interview. If you read the job description carefully, you will have flashbacks of your past accomplishment that might feel small in the context of your whole career, but they are exactly what the company is looking for. Let me give you a real-world example. A few days ago, I saw a remote software engineering role at Coinbase, and it felt like this job was made for me. They were hiring for a Coinbase developer platform, an open-source tool that helps developers to integrate their apps into Coinbase in under 30 seconds. They needed someone strong in Go and JavaScript with experience in Ruby, TypeScript, Python, and Java. They also listed AWS, distributed systems, and, most importantly, experience in building developer APIs, open source SDKs, and writing developer documentation. If I would send them my generic resume or just my LinkedIn profile, they would reject me. Why? Because I would overlook important details such as writing documentation and creating developer-facing APIs, even though I've done exactly that. In reality, I check about 90% of their boxes, but my generic resume misses a lot of things that are relevant to Coinbase. So I would end up meeting maybe 50% of the requirements, and that's why tailoring your resume really matters. If you don't do this, you are underselling yourself. In today's job market, companies don't split the difference. If you look mediocre on paper, your resume ends in the trash. So here's what you need to do before applying. First, read the job description carefully. Second, rewrite your resume to prove that you are the right candidate. Highlight the relevant parts of your work experience that are aligned with the job description, even if your tech stack is different. Because great engineers can learn any programming language, but a lazy resume won't get you a chance to prove it. Secret number 2. You tailor your resume, upload it, and hit apply. Finally, recruiters are calling you back. So let me explain what is about to happen next. First call is a prescreening call. A quick chat to test the waters, learn about your background, and see if you fit any of the open roles. The recruiter will ask you about your past work, your skills, and your career goals. So if they think you are a good fit, they will forward your resume to hiring managers. Many software engineers don't see the difference between hiring managers and recruiters, so let me explain. Recruiters work in HR and they are responsible for managing the hiring process and placing candidates. On the other hand, hiring managers are members of the team you are applying to. Usually, these are team leads or senior software engineers, and their job is to judge your skills and culture fit. That's why it takes time to hear back after the first call, because hiring managers aren't full-time recruiters. They review candidates on top of their regular projects, and they are usually very busy. From here, one of two things can happen. Either hiring managers are interested and you get rejected, or one or multiple teams are interested in you and the evaluation process begins. And that brings us to secret number 3. You nailed the first call and now you got an interview with the hiring managers. Congratulations, this is your chance to prove your technical skills. Now we will talk about 2 different styles of interviewing. The first one is the big tech way. This style is used by companies like Google, Microsoft, and other tech giants. They invite you to their office for the entire day, where you get 4 to 5 interviews, one after another, plus an office tour and a free lunch. The second way is step-by-step way. This style is more common in Europe and smaller companies in the United States. You will be invited for interviews 1 round at a time. If you pass the interview, you will be invited to the next one. This process will be repeated 2 or 3 times before you get an offer. Regardless of the style of interviewing, the decision-making process is about the same. Either they are not excited, you are qualified, but hiring managers think they can find someone better, so the hiring process will drag on because they are hoping for a better candidate. Or they are excited and they will move really fast. The hiring manager will push the process to prepare an offer as soon as possible before you accept anything else. So yes, fast tracking is real in tech hiring. But remember, your technical skills alone aren't enough. And that brings us to secret number 4. So you passed all interviews and still got rejected? Let me explain why that happened. Let's say you have only worked in corporate America and now you're applying to an early stage startup. Technically, you meet the job requirements, but here's one thing. Your experience comes from a hierarchical environment when everyone is just a cogwheel in a big machine. You had conservative deadlines, and your main responsibility was to deliver high-quality software. You didn't need to worry about anything else. But startups are different. Developers there move fast, cut corners, and often compromise on quality. They wear multiple hats. One day they are coding, the other day they are testing, and the day after they might be presenting the product to the board members and investors. Excellent technical skills might get you through the interviews, but they are not enough to land you the job. Culture fit is as important as your technical skills, and it isn't only about your professional background. Often, hiring managers can be influenced by stereotypes, and sometimes even by your age. If you are 55 and you are applying to a team where the oldest member is 28, you might get rejected because you won't fit the team. Hiring managers might think you don't know how the things are done today, or the team lead feels uncomfortable managing someone twice their age. That's why I believe most of us won't lose job to AI, but to ages. It is illegal, but that's another story. So, secret number 5. Have you ever received that polite thank you email saying that they decided to move forward with another candidate? It's the same generic message whether you failed the prescreening or the final interview. Maybe you reach out to them and ask what went wrong, and they replied with something, "We have too many candidates to give feedback to everyone." That's not true, but they have 2 good reasons to apply that way. First, they want to avoid drama. If they told you the real reason, some candidates would push back. They would say something like, "That's not how I normally work, I was stressed out, or I can explain why I did it that way." It could turn into endless back and forth, and it wouldn't change the hiring decision. The second reason is legal protection. If they gave you the actual reasons, you could use it against them in the court. One wrong sentence in feedback could be twisted into proof of discrimination or unfair evaluation. That's why you will never hear the truth after a rejection, and it doesn't matter if you live in Europe or in the United States. If you get rejected, don't fight it and never argue. The only thing you can achieve that way is getting flagged in the ATS, and once that happens, you are done. You will never get another interview at that company again. But that's not the only thing the companies hide from you. So secret number 6. Have you ever noticed that the job posting rarely mention the salary? They usually say the company offers competitive pay or above the market rate. But if it is so good, why they wouldn't reveal it? Well, because they hide it from their own employees. Most people never get promoted, they just get tiny inflation-based raises, usually from 2 to 5% per year. So in the long run, they end up being underpaid. Let's run some numbers to prove it. John is a software engineer. 10 years ago, he joined the company and got $70,000 per year salary. Every year, he got a 5% raise, and today he is making $104,000 per year. Now let's assume that the company wants to grow and hire more software engineers. But here's a problem. As of 2025, the median salary for a software engineer in the United States is about $139,000 per year. It means the company needs to adjust salaries to market rates to fill this position. So the new salary band for software engineers will be between $120,000 up to $160,000, making John severely underpaid. Now imagine what would happen if John would see this number on the job posting. He would feel unappreciated and either demand a raise or quit. That's why the most of companies will never reveal salaries on the job postings. But does this mean that you need to wait till the end of the process to find out how much you will make? Of course not. You always should ask about the salary at the pre-screening call. Many software engineers think it's rude to talk about money so early, but that's a mistake. A pre-screening call is to determine if you are the right fit for the company, also in terms of your compensation. Let's assume you are making $250K per year and you expect a salary bump to change a job. But you apply to the company that can pay up to $160,000 per year, and obviously you are not the right fit, and the recruiter needs to know it as soon as possible. Otherwise, you both are wasting your time. So don't hesitate to ask about the salary band, but remember, never reveal your salary expectation up front. You might lowball your offer. Imagine you would like to make $160K per year, but the company is ready to pay up to $200K for that position. If you tell them you will be happy with $160K, you would never get more. That means you will leave even $40,000 per year on the table. So always ask about the salary, but never give your number first. And that brings us to secret number 7. Now you know that loyalty will keep you poor, but at the very same time you heard that job hopping looks bad on the resume and it might cost you a job offer. Is that true? The average tenure in tech is about 1.5 years, and companies know it. Some of them even design their culture to make sure that software engineers leave after 2 years. Take Amazon, for example. Senior software engineers at Amazon could make over $400,000 per year, but most quit after about 2 years. And you know what? Amazon really wants them to leave after 2 years because they don't want to pay them as much as they promised. Let me break it down for you. Compensation at Amazon has 3 main parts: base salary, sign-on bonus, and stock options. The sign-on bonus is paid monthly over the first 2 years, and stock options have delayed vesting periods. In the first year, you will receive 5% of your stock options, 15% in year 2, 40% in year 3, and the rest in year 4. Base salary usually stays flat, and you get only small inflation raises. But let's run some actual numbers. Imagine you were offered $400K total comp at Amazon. Here's what you need to know. This $400K is averaged out over 4 years. But what does it mean? Your base salary, paid in cash, will be about $200,000 per year. In year 1 and 2, you get additional $20,000 per year in a sign-on bonus. And over 4 years, you will receive roughly $700,000 in stock options. But here's the T. In year 1, you only vest 5% of your stocks, making your total comp about $260,000 per year. $220K will be paid in cash and $30K in stocks. In year 2, your vesting increases to 15%, so your total comp jumps to $330K. And now Amazon wants you to quit. Because in year 3, your sign-on bonus is gone, so your in-cash compensation drops to $200K, but you get $280,000 in stocks. That's a massive amount of money, right? But they don't want to give you these stocks. Amazon doesn't care about employee retention. Here is one big myth that software engineers fall into. They think companies give stocks to optimize taxes. The truth is that stock options are taxed at the same rate as salary, so even if you get those stocks, you will end up selling half of it to pay taxes. It's all about deferring your compensation, so you will never get it. That's why job hopping isn't bad. Don't worry about changing your jobs as long as you do it every 2 years. Always optimize your tenure around your compensation cycles. Because in most cases, staying at one company for longer than 2 years doesn't pay off. Now you know 7 secrets of tech hiring, so you can navigate the process like a champ. But it will mean nothing if your resume doesn't get you an interview in the very first place. That's why you should watch this video next, and I will show you how I wrote a resume that got me over 100 interviews at top tech companies like Palantir and Google. Click on the video now, and I will see you there.